You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Now this is the day before Melbourne Cup Eve, Donald, and this is meant to be our sporting segment. But because you're so anal, and you wanted to wind up last segment about general things, the one thing I did want to mention was there's a 23-year-old woman called Madeline Scott, who has been jailed.
Any relation?
Very good question. Speaking about snorting coke.
Keep going.
Don, have you snorted coke with her ever?
Have you?
With Madeline?
No, you. Have you snorted coke?
With Madeline?
No, by yourself?
Oh, Don, I do it on a daily basis.
No, you're being flippant now.
I am being flippant. That's the only
You're
reason.
not answering my question.
The only reason I can come in here and sit opposite you every Tuesday, but it's Monday today, is unless I take a couple of heavy big lines of coke, that's the only way I can get through this, Donald. So, Madeline Scott, 23, has been jailed for 18 months. She's already served 317 days for Donald, distributing ice, she says, for her own personal use. And yet, seriously, we've got the man that you just mentioned who has been selling it in the injecting rooms.
In Richmond.
Got a good behaviour bond.
Behaviour bond. It is unbelievable.
And you see people out in the streets rioting and hijacking cars and ramming police cars. They get bonds and they get sent to
do you mind if I say something?
Reform schools. Here's this woman.
Can I say something? You didn't read Steve Price's article where he went and investigated the injecting room in Richmond. Then he went to the Victoria Market and he just happened to turn around and take a casual photograph of a fellow in the gutter injecting himself in front of the injecting rooms in Richmond. Now, this came up months ago and the council rejected the proposal of putting another injecting room in the heart of Melbourne, in Victoria Market. Now, this is where tourists go. They walk around the Victoria Market, and they're going to put another injecting room, or wish to do the same. And if this is a precedent in Richmond, they'll all be hanging around at a tourist venue. Now, the council have knocked it back, but I wonder if there's pressure going to be applied by the state government.
Or the Lord Mayor.
Why do they even acknowledge them?
No, but, I mean, if it's a medical condition, why don't they make it part of a hospital? Doesn't that make more sense with security and stuff?
Might hit it on the head and say we don't want that in our city. Do you know what
the Lord Mayor and the council did?
Do you know what my suggestion was, Donald? That they have mobile injecting rooms so that if you set up a big mobile injecting room and you have it there permanently, but if you wish to move it because it is causing angst and it's causing interference with general commerce and trade, and it's annoying the people, the residents, then you just drive the truck to somewhere else. But you leave it there permanently, but it is a mobile injecting room. That would be better than setting up a building that is... so Stephen Price, very good piece of investigative journalism by Stephen Price, who's been a very, very prominent member on this.
It was written up months ago and didn't receive the acknowledgement that it should. It's just that Stephen Price has now done it. He's got a higher profile than the original author, and it's receiving a little bit of recognition now because of Stephen Price. But it's been out there for quite a while now.
Now, we're doing sport, Donald, but just one final thing on our great hero, Sean Connery. Do you know how he got... I just wanted to ask you this. Do you know how he got the name... Ian Fleming got the name of James Bond? Do you know where James Bond came from?
Wasn't it a figment of his imagination in as much as he thought he wanted to be a spy himself? Or wasn't Ian Fleming a...
Yes, but where did he get the name James Bond?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know.
He got it from a friend who was a Caribbean bird expert whose name was James Bond. And Ian Fleming was a bird enthusiast himself. I'm not sure what you call that word. A aviarist or something, I don't know. And he knew this man called James Bond, and he said that'd be a very good name for my character. And do you know where they got 007 from? People say it's a license to kill. This is another interesting point. I thought 007 came from a piece of intelligence from the German army in World War I, where the code name given to translating the code to break the code, the German code, was 0073, and he just cut the 3 off and just made it 007.
Was that the Amiga?
No, it wasn't, but it's a good question. The Amiga thing was, I think, World War II.
World War II, yes.
This was World War I. Anyhow, that's
got a
sport.
lot to do with sport.
No, it has got nothing to do with sport.
You didn't happen to see, talking about articles, about what happened up in New South Wales. This is an interesting timing. They've come out again in New South Wales. The article really didn't get much exposure here in Victoria about cruelty to the racehorses again, and how one racehorse was found in an abattoir. And also, Racing Victoria for weeks now in the Sunday Herald Sun have been putting out ads about what they do as far as racehorses go, a real PR exercise, and really it hasn't changed. What they say in these ads is airy-fairy stuff. In Hong Kong, do you realise in Hong Kong or Singapore, they have the racing, and each of those horses have got to be rehoused, and they do come back to Australia or exported to Australia and rehoused in Australia at the expense of the Hong Kong Racing Club. Now, the racing club here in Victoria does nothing along that line except maybe sponsor events. They put these articles in here, but they've got to get a practical system going in order to rehouse racehorses.
That's fascinating.
And nothing has changed, John, as far as what happened 12 months ago.
Well, that's extraordinarily interesting, Donald.
The
Happy Valley.
It happens everywhere about PR. We got it with the state government. We got it with racing. You know, they were putting $10 million in last year, the Racing Authority, to rehouse racehorses. I'd love to know where that $10 million has gone.
Would you? Do you think at the Hong Kong Race Club in Happy Valley, I think that's where it is, isn't it? Hong Kong, Happy Valley?
Yep.
Is it?
They've got Sha Tin as well, haven't they?
Oh, Sha Tin? That's what I'm asking. Is it Happy Valley or Sha? Do you think they would have a display up on their wall so that when people go there, they would have a display of horse bits?
I knew you were going to say it.
You could donate your great collection of horse bits, and they could adorn them, festoon them on the walls of the Happy Valley Race Club at Sha Tin, and people who go over for the gambling could say, "Fuck me, look at that!" And down a little plaque on the underneath of where the horse bits are, they say, "Donated on permanent loan by Don Scott." Not James Bond, but Don Scott. And people would say, "Well, look at that horse bits." That could be one of the greatest.
Well, you could also do a display on horse shoes. You have bar shoes, you have three-quarter shoes, double clip shoes. You have a variety of shoes that horses wear for various reasons. So you could do a whole display on the various shoes they wear.
That's right. You could have a separate room.
Yes, very interesting.
You could have a museum, the Don Scott Memorial Museum on horse bits and shoes. Memorial bit, yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about cricket?
Of course, Don.
Now, two Victorians.
What?
Two Victorians in the Sheffield Shield.
TWO? Or are you saying you're speaking two Victorians?
Two Victorians.
TWO Victorians.
Well,
are you speaking two Victorians? Are you speaking
two Victorian batsmen?
Yep.
In Adelaide at Glenelg.
Are you saying...
played at Glenelg too. That's a football ground, a suburban cricket ground. Why wouldn't they have played at the Adelaide Oval, the Shield game? But anyway, that's another... Set 486, a record in Shield cricket, and Mark Waugh has backed Pekurski as a national player. But didn't he suffer from mental...
Oh, fuck if I know, Don. Well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Because you're not across cricket at all. I'm posing the question. And Michael Slater, doesn't he want tough players as a coach?
Langer.
Oh, Langer, I'm sorry. I've got that one. Is that...
Yep, don't worry. People can't see who it is. Come on. Don. Hey, listen up. Don't be waylaid by him. He's coming in. We know that's Rex. He's coming in.
What has he got on?
He's got Don.
He looks...
Don, stick with the program. So do you think Jeremy Cameron They will end up doing a deal for Jeremy Cameron to go to Geelong. Do you know why? This is in my opinion. What's the point of keeping him at Greater West Sydney without slugging a deal out if he doesn't want to be there?
Well, he wants to be close at home. He comes from down in Dartmouth, so whether he's been away long enough now that he'd be used to.
Go on, Don. Don't look, please. Go on. You've got the concentration of a whipfly.
I'm just astounded.
Don't worry about
half the man it was.
We'll get on. We'll speak to him in a minute. Just go on. Don't break your train of thought, you
well, he has
dummy.
upset my chain of thought.
Train.
Train is...
Train. You haven't even got on the train, Donald.
But do you understand all this trading that's going on? Talking about Cameron, I think there's a bigger issue. How do they arrive and determine what a player's worth and how you trade him and free agency and all the rest? I don't understand it.
Don't you?
No. Do you?
No.
I wish someone had explained it to me.
Well, I wish you'd do some research on it before you got here so you could explain it to us.
I tried to, but found it difficult. But Danaher's the other interesting one, going to Brisbane.
Yes.
I wonder if they put him on an incentive contract because he hasn't played football for a number of years and will he come up to what potentially he showed when he was playing at Essendon in his early days?
Quite right,
And
Donald.
Essendon out of that have picked up, well, they've done pretty well. They've picked up 6 and 7 in the draft for him.
Yep.
So they
It's a very big rating thing, apparently, Rocket here tells me, because he set up Fox Sports. Did you know that all those years ago?
What's rating?
I'm about to tell you. The chat about the draft is huge rating, isn't it, Rocket?
Not really. It is online. No.
You are a fool. You told me that while we find it extraordinarily boring, they have 40 different sessions a week or a day about
with trade radio, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
what do you think I said?
Yeah, well, that's so they multiply their audience by 40 because there's 40
So
different
it's hugely popular.
Yeah, it does well at this time of year.
Oh, and you said you didn't really understand what I was saying.
Well,
Don, you've infected him. He's become just as...
You've created him.
I've created him.
I've just sat back down. I had to go and get wrecked, so I don't even know what we're talking about.
Did you watch the rugby, talking about sport, rugby union? I tuned in to see whether they could level the series.
They can't because they're second rate.
Oh, no, well, they're minnows in relation to the rest of the world. And if you
second rate, that means?
Let's just appreciate that it is really only played in the private schools in Sydney and Brisbane, so they've got a limited market.
Yes.
In New Zealand, it is the number one sport.
So they're second rate.
Well, I understand.
Well, you said they weren't a minute ago.
They are really battling, aren't they? And will they ever get to the top?
Well, they have been at the top under John Eales, weren't they, once?
Yeah, well, that's back in 2003.
Well, I don't care when it was. I said they were once.
Once, yeah. But it's been 17, 18 odd years.
Yes, I didn't say how long ago it was. I just said once they were.
And they're now a lot...
Alan Jones used to coach them.
He did, and coached them very, very well.
Do you think?
And they had a hell of a lot of success.
Now, there's an interesting question, Donald. Do you think that you don't have to necessarily have played the game?
I know, I've thought of that.
That anyone could coach an AFL side because it's getting the people to play for you and not in spite of you, and having played the game might have no influence at all on how you coach a side. Alan Jones would be a living example of this.
Well, maybe.
Do you think?
Chris Fagan at the moment, there's been others in
Did
the past.
he play football?
Well, at a minor level.
No, well, Alan Jones played at no level. Did he? I wouldn't have thought.
Well, we don't know. He may have played.
Well, what do you mean you don't know?
Outstanding school.
I don't think he was.
Talking about rugby, you didn't watch the curtain. I know we're going back a couple of weeks, but we talk about ladies' sport, women's sport, and rugby league certainly lends itself to women. Did you watch that?
Rugby league lends itself to women.
Women
Why
playing
does it?
the game. They've only got 4 teams, I think.
You put 5 fingers up then.
I couldn't get the other one down. I could not get the other one down because I heard it playing football.
What, 50 years ago?
Yes, exactly. Haven't you? I've got it everywhere.
Go on.
But anyway, I watched it. It was a great game, and it really does lend itself to women playing the game. Not like our game, Australian rules, but the rugby league certainly does lend itself to the women.
Right. Now, we've truncated sport because our great guest has come in, Rex, and you've got a question you want to ask him after the last interview he did while you were listening from your sick bed, what he did with Mike Sheehan, and he's going to do we've preempted this, Rex. Don't have to speak now because we'll introduce you in a minute, but we've preempted that you're going to do a phantom call either on the races, the real horses, or some we don't know, and then we're going to speak to Dennis Pagan. But I want to say this, and this I want you can do this too, Rocket, because Don won't have any idea. The Italian Grand Prix was just on, the Formula One, and it was, have a guess who it was won by. Hamilton, can't think of his first name.
Billy Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
Jack Hamilton.
And Valtteri Bottas came second, first and second, and Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricardo.
It's not Ricardo, he's Ricciardo. It's Iardo. It's Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricardo.
But that's not how it's spelled.
I know that.
So it's something to do with his shoe?
Daniel Ricciardo.
To his shoe.
Daniel Ricciardo, no, he did drink out of his shoe. Daniel Ricciardo came third in a Renault. I'm putting this up. I don't reckon that Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas are the best Formula One drivers going around. Lewis Hamilton, if he didn't have that car, there's any number of 12 drivers, if you put him in a Mercedes, would do what Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas doing. It's the car. It's not the driver.
Well, that happens a lot in sport.
Well, not a lot in sport because there's not a lot of cars in any
I
other sport.
realise, but there's another so race horses. If you're a jockey and you're on the best horse, you're
Is
the
that
best
right?
jockey.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, would you say Dennis Pagan was the best horse? What's
Best
it?
trainer.
Johnny Come Lately. What was the horse called?
Johnny Get Angry.
Johnny Get Angry. Don't you remember that song?
Yeah,
Back in the early 60s.
I do. Yeah, I do, Donald. So if you got any more sport, this was a truncated version of sport because we're going to now... will we continue or will we just close this off and we'll just gather ourselves?
I don't know what's going on today.
Righto, so Don.
Oh, by the way, about the draft. The draft does
rate
rate well. Now I know what you're talking about. Yes, sorry.
Oh, you do know.
Well, I didn't know. I just sat down. I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know.
The
So when
draft
I
rates
said
well.
the draft is huge, you said
I
no.
didn't know.
No,
I
it's
didn't
not.
hear what you said.
And how did I
sat
perform in
down.
this segment, Rodney?
Shit
Was I angry again?
Shit house.
Oh, right.
No, you're
Jeez,
wonderful,
you've
Don. Don't listen to
Why
me.
did you create him?
Eh?
You are to blame. You.
I don't even know what's going on.
And seeing as it's sport, the great Jack
He sits there in judgment. He shit himself when he used to come on and speak. Say something, Rod. Look what you've created.
This is
I haven't
sport.
even
Verbal diarrhea.
This is sport. So the great Jack Nicklaus just endorsed Donald Trump. That's sport. We've already covered
So
that.
Greg Norman.
Greg Norman, of course, because they're free enterprise capitalist people and they don't
They've
want
all
that
got
country.
blonde hair.
Pardon?
They've all got blonde hair.
You're jealous of that, aren't you?
I've got none.
That's what I say. That's why I say you're jealous. You're adult. You're adult.